What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome to Throwback Thursday. This is a series where I get to play with some of the older eyeshadow palettes in my collection chosen by you. So the way this works is every Sunday I post a bonus video going through my entire eyeshadow palette collection and pulling 4 palettes for y'all to choose from. From there, I post a poll over in the community section with the names and pictures of each of the palettes. I give you a few days to vote, and on Thursday we play with our winning palette. Now the polls were interesting this week. They started out where everything was kind of neck and neck. There wasn't like a clear winner, but ultimately 2 kind of pulled away, and secretly I was hoping for the Whistler Snow Lodge palette from Gourmande Cosmetics to win because I absolutely love that one. But ultimately our winner is the Silent Night palette from Gourmande Girls, and this one is stunning as well. This was last year's holiday release for the brand, and it is such a gorgeous like neutral palette with pops of blues and golds. It is very well curated. The formula in here is incredible and the shimmers are stunning. Unfortunately, this palette is no longer available, and as far as I know there are no plans to restock it, but if you don't have it in your collection you can always shop your stash and draw a little bit of inspiration from this. I will have everything that I use in today's video listed and linked down below in the description box, so per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and start creating our look. Alright y'all, so my eyes are primed and ready to go, and I did not go in with my MAC paint pot. Instead, I'm using the P. Louise base. This is in the shade Rumor 02, and I got this for free in a, I think a budget box. I think it was actually like a gift with purchase type thing. It's been years since I've played with this base. I remembered absolutely loving it, so I wanted to give it a whirl again and see how it performed, but I wanted to try it out with a formula that I already know and love, so this video is perfect for that. But let's go ahead and jump into Silent Night and create our look. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here, and we're gonna do something kind of blue and brown for like the crease and lower lash line, and then we're gonna do gold on the lid. I think it's gonna be absolutely stunning. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, which is called Heavenly, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with my Morphe M504 brush, and I'm gonna start by fluffing this into my crease and just building up a little bit of depth and definition. Now going back to the P. Louise eyeshadow base, I do want to say, if you were interested in it and you've never tried it, it is very thick and it dries down like pretty good. Like it's very drying on the lid, so if you have dry eyelids, this may not be the base for you, but I have very oily eyelids, so I'm hoping that it's gonna work really well. I don't know if it'll ever replace my MAC paint pot, but I love having options because it's nice to have things to kind of cycle through and other things to reference, especially, you know, if things aren't readily available to people. But I have a fun fact for y'all, and you're gonna laugh at me. So this is actually the second time that I'm filming this video today. I got up this morning, and after my kids left, I sat down to film this video like I always do and finished it up, did some stuff around, sat down to edit the video like this afternoon, and I filmed the entire thing in slow motion. Kid you not, whole thing, slow motion. I was sitting there and I was getting frustrated. I was like, why is everything lagging? Because I always edit on my iPad. I was like, why is my iPad lagging? It shouldn't be doing this. And why isn't there any sound? And I finally realized it was in slow motion, and if it had sound, I would have tried to just speed it up and just kind of roll with it, but apparently slow motion doesn't film with sound. So here I am refilming this video for the second time today, so I already know exactly what look I'm doing, and it's beautiful. I can't wait. Alright, so next we're going to go in with this sort of mid-tone deep leaning brown shade up here. This one is called All Is Calm, and I'm going to go ahead and pick this up with a BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm going to kind of very lightly sort of fluff it on like the outer half of my lid, kind of bringing it out a little bit, making sure that it's not too opaque. So I'm going in very light-handed because I don't want this to be like a neutral look with a pop. I want it to be more of like a brown and blue look with a pop of the gold. So I'm going in pretty lightly handed with this brush, and I'm just starting by kind of packing it on, and then once I have it down, I'm just sort of dispersing and fluffing and distributing that color to where it doesn't really overtake anything, but we have a nice base for the blue to go down on top of. I love a good blue and brown look. I think it's just such a beautiful color combination, and this is working really nicely. Gourmande Girls has a wonderful formula. I will say that I don't feel like all of their formulas are created equal. I don't ever think I get a bad palette. Like, I've never had any issues, but I definitely feel like there's certain ones that are easier to work with than others. And this was actually my first purchase from the brand. I saw this one come out last year and I just absolutely love the color story. For whatever reason, I hadn't purchased anything else up until that point. I loved the color stories, but I think there was always something going on, something happening, and I just couldn't do it. And when I saw this one, I jumped all over it, and the formula in this palette is incredible. There's something about these slimmer palettes that they're just so incredibly good. The color story, the cover art, everything. I love this one. But what I want to do next is I want to go in with this deeper blue shade right here. This one is just a smidge lighter. So I'm going to start here. This one is called Silent Night. And I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO4 brush. And I'm going to start to kind of deepen up my outer corner a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of pack it on right out here. And then just kind of zhuzh my brush a little bit, building up that shade. And once I have it down, I am going to go back with something else, or not something else, the shade that I just used, and kind of fluff it out a little bit, because I don't want to lose this shade, but I don't want to bring it too far over, if that makes sense. If not, you'll understand what I mean in just a minute. But I'm going to bring this down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of lining it up once again with what I did up on the lid, making sure that everything is nice and even, meeting it up out here, and just keep packing and building and creating the shape that I want. That looks really pretty. All right, so I'm taking that same brush and that same shade, All Is Calm, and I'm just going kind of right along the edge right here to kind of soften that blue just a little bit. And then I'm also going to go right here on my lid, just kind of fluffing it inwards and blending out that shade and softening it just a little bit so we have a nice gradient. I'm not really worried too much about the lid because I am going to go in with a shimmer, but I also don't want to leave it with a super harsh line because then it can be a little bit harder to blend. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this on the other eye, and then we will move on. Okay, so next I want to go in with the lighter deep blue shade down here, which is called Child. And I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO6 brush. And I'm going to take a very light hand and just kind of fluff this along the rest of my lower lash line. Now, there's not a whole lot of variance between these two blue shades. I do honestly wish that there was just maybe a little bit more variation between them, but it's okay. It's still gonna do what I want it to do. So I'm trying to not fluff it out too much. I'm trying to keep it pretty precise and not bring it too far down. But I am gonna go back with that first shade that we used in just a minute and really kind of not smoke things out, but kind of soften it just a little bit so we don't have a harsh line. All right, so going back in with the shade Heavenly, I'm just gonna kind of run it right along the lower part of my lower lash line. So just kind of putting my brush right in there and just going back and forth. I didn't pick up a whole lot of product, but just enough to soften it so it's not so harsh as it is over here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more and go right along the edge with sort of circle motions, blending it, softening it, kind of making sure that everything kind of fades and blends as much as I can possibly get it to. I like everything to be very soft. If you've been here, you know that I don't like a lot of harsh lines. I don't like cut creases. I want everything to be very kind of blended and buffed out. Alright y'all, so my lid is primed and ready to go with my NYX glitter primer, and for all over the lid we're going to go in with this really pretty gold shimmer shade right here. This one is called Bright, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this up with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I am going to spray it and we're going to pop this all over the lid. So I'm going to start with a packing motion and then just kind of work my way to the inner corner. And once I have that shade down, I can go back and start to blend it. But look at that. It is blinding. It is extremely pigmented. It is not for the faint of heart at all, but it is so smooth and just reflective on the eye, and I absolutely love it. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other eye, and then we're going to go back with a blue shade and kind of blend out that outer corner just a little bit better. All right, so to blend the outer corner to where we don't have that harsh line, I'm gonna go in with this blue shimmer shade right here. It's a little bit deeper and a little bit more true blue than this one up here, and it is called Festive. So I'm gonna pick it up with my same BK Beauty 203 brush that I just used. I'm gonna spray the brush once again, and I'm just gonna kind of press this and blend it right along that little line of demarcation that I have going on. Now this one does have a little bit more of a sheer base, so you wouldn't think that that would really blend because it's so light, but since it has that sheer base, it's actually going to work really nicely. I always like to go in with a shimmer shade that's closer to the shade on my outer corner to kind of blend everything together, but sometimes these ones with a really sheer base work really nicely. And look at that. Oh my gosh, the beautiful cool tone going into a warm tone. Ugh, I absolutely love it. And finally, for the inner corner, we're going to go into this matte white shade up here, which is called Snowy. I had toyed with the idea of doing a little bit of sparkle on the inner corner, but when I did this look the first time, I really loved the way the matte looked, so I just decided to go ahead and stick with that. And this is a Sigma E33 brush, and I'm just kind of putting it right here in that inner corner and just kind of fluffing it and blending it so it's not just a glob of white. And this definitely adds a lot of brightness and lightness to the look, and this is such a good white shadow. It's extremely pigmented, but it's not chalky, and I know that a lot of times sometimes white shadows can really be kind of like too white based. I know that sounds really odd, but I don't know any other way to describe it, but it just leaves like this weird cast where it almost looks like you know, forgot to wipe powder off your face or your skin looks dry or something like that. And this one doesn't do that, but look at that pretty little pop. Alright y'all, so this is the completed look, and I think this turned out so beautiful. It is very festive, it is colorful, it is fun. I love the combination of the cool tones going into the warm tone, and I really love the matte inner corner. That white shade is incredibly beautiful. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down, see the shimmer, the shift, the sparkle, and then we will close out this video. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Give eyeliner in the shade Bathwater. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. Alright y'all, so that is going to complete this week's Throwback Thursday video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. Whether you have this palette or you're shopping your stash, I hope I was able to give you a little bit of inspiration. As always, if there's ever a palette that you want to see included in Throwback Thursday, leave it down below in that comment section, and if I have it in my collection, I am more than happy to pull it in a future video. But let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know which palette you voted for, if you have this one in your collection, and what you thought of the look. I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.